Welcome to 254Promo show. This is a show where we are discussing the political future of this country as young Kenyans. We owe this country a very big responsibility as young Kenyans in making the right decision in the choice of leaders that we choose to lead us. If we get it right, we live to celebrate the Vision 2030. We live to see development in our country. We live to see the opportunities we have always yearned for. Today, my guest is Mohammed Ibrahim.
Thank you, Wilson.
Welcome to the show.
I'm honored, to be part of this promotion.
Yeah.
It is an honor to the youth, and I'm happy to be associated with the Code of Kenya, for that matter, 254Promo.
Yeah, welcome, Asante Sana. I'm glad you honored the invitation. Yeah, as I said, we are here to discuss the future of this country's young Kenyans. We are faced by a lot of issues, but unless we come out and discuss those issues and, most importantly, give solutions to those issues, this country won't move forward. But most importantly, we have to make the right decision of electing the right leaders. What do you think are the issues facing us young Kenyans?
Wilson, we have youth in Kenya face a number of challenges, across so many facets of their life. They confront, an insurmountable load of number of odds, as they prepare, to live a decent livelihood, as they, try, to safeguard their health, and as they work hard towards education. These problems are there, and even they have problem even when it comes to, as they, work hard towards, inclusion, attempts to push for inclusion, in governance, another development process. They normally face all these challenges. Challenges are there, there are plenty, we have seen. Nobody is ready, to help the youth, wherever they are in the country. The challenges are similar, more or less. Yeah, some of these challenges is brought by as a result of, leadership, poor leadership. And I always say, so many times when people ask me, I normally tell them, as youth, our problems is twofold. One is problem, emanating from us. The other one is one we created ourselves. The other one is that which comes from poor leadership. And this is now the problem that, as Kenyans, all of us face, not only the youth. So it is up to us now, and now it is an election time. It's up to us now to think, to set the pace, and and think of how we can change the leadership. Once we change the leadership is when we can get good governance and everything that we want, reforms, that is how things happen.
And do you believe we can do it?
Yeah, I believe.
And how can we?
It is possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. We know one problem we have in Kenya. As youth, first we constitute 60% of the registered voters. I mean, that is a fact. But there is this problem that Kenyans have. We are ethnically sensitive. And whenever we are voting, we vote along, tribal lines. As youth, if we come together and ask ourselves, what are our priorities? What are the things that we want?
Yeah.
Where does our interest lie? 60%. It's not a small number. If we come together, unite, and start, reasoning together, I think without, inclining ourselves towards, ethnic, whatever, making our guiding principle when it comes to voting as ideas, issues, agendas, policies, not clan chauvinism, or in the case of Northeastern, or not having any tribal chauvinism. I think we can make it. We can basically, find the good choice of the people from there.
So what you're saying is like, we as young people, we have to recognize that if you want to get it right, we have to be guided by issues, and we have to shun tribalism.
Exactly. Those are the two things that, disturb this country. There's one thing when it comes to voting that disturbs, I said, is ethnicity. Some are trying to say that it's not ethnicity that's trying to disturb this nation. They are saying it is negative ethnicity. What is negative ethnicity? You generalize ethnicity, address it. Leaders should address that one time. It is high time that we choose to be Kenyans. We are sick and tired of this they versus we. For how long are we going to say that? Yeah. So they versus we, of which I am certain, I'm very much sure that even most of the presidential hopefuls, not only most of them, all the presidential hopefuls, all the leaders, all hopeful candidates, even county reps included, they are, all of them, they ascribe to that we versus they kind of. Yeah.
They are tribal. That's what it's
tribal. Kenyans are tribal sensitive. I think youth are never tribal. Youth are never tribal, because you'll find that we guys come together.
Yeah, true.
At class, we don't have that differences. When we are in class, with Kyoko, different names, we don't have any differences. But when it comes to elections, why bring the difference? It doesn't have. We are used. That is, the youth are being used at that time. They are used as political tool,
But what can we do, we as young people, so that the next time the politician comes to us, they won't be able to use us as a political tool towards their self-interest? Because we have to do something. We can speak, complain, lay the blame to politicians, but we as young people, what can we do so that the next time the politician comes, they know, by the way, I can't use these guys. This time they have made a decision and they are going to stick with it. What can we do as young Kenyans to do that?
First is uniting as youth. Second is political participation matters a lot. All the youth should come together, those interested, those who have the ability, to lead, should, volunteer and tell that they are interested, so that we give them the votes. Yeah. And in fact, we should be giving them the votes on platform of being the youth. The problems of the youth can be solved by the youth themselves, not anybody else. But if you don't have representation, where are you taking those, who are you going to blame? For a quite long time, the government has not done anything for the, we have been acutely disempowered as youth. We have been excluded politically, socially, economically. So if you guys elect one of your own, that is the only time the problems of the youth can be solved. No any other time.
It's only the youth who can solve the problems.
It is only the youth who can solve the problems of the youth.
But also, I think we need to elect those youth who have ideas, not just because they are young.
Not just any other youth.
Yeah.
Because not all youth have the ideas.
Yeah,
in fact,
true.
It is good you choose the best among you.
Yeah.
You go and represent us, and you give them, because you are 60%. Anywhere you go, and this 60% is constant, not only for Kenya in general, but the 60% is in everywhere. Everywhere you go, 60% majority youth. Yeah. Both male and female. But the female youth is being protected, by the women folk. The women folk have been aggressive for too long. The youth have not been aggressive.
Yeah. True.
They fought hard
to
get some of this protection. In fact, they have a large, they have been represented well in the constitution.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, go through the paper, you will find that the youth problem have not, despite having circulars in every department in this country. If you go around, you'll find circulars. This is what the president has said. It's not just that you mainstream, youth activities everywhere. Mainstream. These circulars are in everywhere, any other office. in the district, in the division, everywhere you go. It is spread anywhere in Kenya. But that is only,
on
written
paper.
on paper.
It's only on
what
paper.
Kenya does for the youth is only the work.
It's only paper.
The paperwork.
It's not implemented.
It is never implemented. Whatever they formulate, and even you reminded me of one thing. There is the idea of the national youth policy. This being an affirmative action, one way of helping the youth. It was formulated 2006. The youth rallied behind that.
Yeah.
2009, we had the National Youth Council Act, which was legislated by the parliament. It has never been implemented. You see, it will never operationalize. It has never happened. No, when the youth were rallying behind that, they wanted to have people who represent them, whenever they raise their concern, represent them, where they can seek any kind of help. They thought that is the only way they can be vindicated.
Yeah.
Of these mysteries that surrounding them. But what happened is, even I suspect that it is the government that stopped that, because there was a court injunction.
Yeah.
Someone went to court and said that the election should be stopped because of 1, 2 reasons. Why? It did not follow the process was.
For me, what I think of that national youth policy.
Yeah.
I think it was started because there was a youth uprising. Like guys were starting to ask questions. So the only thing that could have tamed us is to create a policy, show them that we can actually include them in the political process, in the management of the country resources. Then when they are so hyped up, then kill the process, and that's exactly what happened.
Now why are people never talking about? Even we are talking of judicial reforms. That thing has been in court for too long. It's been always adjourned, case adjourned. Why should that happen? I mean, having structures that help the youth, why should that happen? I mean, you should ask yourself. Everybody else should ask himself that. I even suspected that it is, the government that has done, it was an effort from the government to stop the youth, to get some of the things they have. And this is something that is in the law. It's not something that we are just, we are getting as a youth for privilege. This is something that is in the law. The law, gives us an act of parliament.
So, Mohammed, another issue. What qualities should we as young Kenyans look for the leaders that we are going to elect in the next elections?
Responsibility matters, because one thing, when you talk about responsibility, it's not about holding an office. It's not about, dressing nicely. I think responsibility has something to do with integrity. If you don't have, if you're not honest, you're not responsible. Yeah, what we are lacking are honest leaders. What we have today are irresponsible leaders. You have seen so many cartoons in the parliament. They don't have even the interest. They have the interest of nobody, not even their wives. You wonder sometimes, whose interest do they represent? So what we are talking about, we need honest leaders, people who, when they want to do, committed, dedicated, who can do something. And the leadership thing, mostly people say is inborn. Some acquire, yes, but it is an inborn thing, that those who are supposed to do normally resort to doing something else. But those who have the means, the wherewithal, rather materially, look for resort to politics. Simply because they have the means, they resort to politics. But they are not leaders. Born leaders are outside.
Because what I think, Mohammed, we should do is, what I think as Kenyans, we should do is, we should make the leadership job to be so unattractive. So that only the committed one can seek that job. If someone is thinking, I'm going to get to parliament, I'm going to get to be a president, or I'm going to get to the county assembly to enrich myself, there are no channels to do that. So we make the job so unattractive such that only those who are committed to serving Kenyans will seek that position.
Definitely, yeah. That is a nice way of, you know, of trying to find out who can work, because not everybody is willing politically. When you make it so unattractive, like say, we will give them low salary, the payment is reduced. Like now, this parliament is so selfish that in the whole world we are told it is the Kenya parliament that, you know, the parliamentarians who earn, you know, the highest.
I'm saying we make it unattractive in terms of salary, but responsibilities, expectations. We put very high expectations on our leaders such that the job becomes so unattractive. You know, when a job demands a lot from you, it's unattractive. Despite how much you're being paid, the job is so unattractive. We have like a contract system with our leaders, so that we have timelines. Umeingia leo, in the first year, you have to do this, second year, you have to do this, that year. If you don't do this, something gonna happen. If we put high expectations to leadership position in this country, I think we can really make the job unattractive.
But here is Kenya, and you know Kenya, you know those things don't normally work. In Kenya, expect anything. In Kenya, expect anything. You can stop somebody by bringing, you know, any unattractive kind of that is not suitable for him or whatever. Those who have the means, those guys I know, who all they want is to get that power so that they do all that they want for themselves, will never be stopped. Here is Kenya, because corruption is one thing that is killing this country, you know, apart from ethnicity. It's not something that cannot be stopped unless you bring proposals, intervention, or resolutions to curb these kind of problems, you know, escalating situations of corruptions in everywhere in this country. It will be extremely difficult for us not to stop them.
We cannot stop them. Me, I believe we can stop them.
But that should be done according to the rule of law, you know.
We are saying, yes, we follow. Like, for example, how I want us to stop them is the next elections, we make sure we vote for the right leaders. That's how we're going to stop them. We're not going to use any other means. No violence, nothing. The power is our vote. When we are voting, we vote for the right person.
Like now, in Kenya, we are told if you have any thoughts of running for a political office, you must go through you must go under some integrity test. And the integrity test, we are told there are institutions responsible for this. You must go, you know, for auditing, ethics and anti-corruption. You must go to Kenya National Human Rights, NSIS, you know, CID, and all these kind of, you have to pass all these institutions. But these institutions themselves are not safe. So how do you think that these people will everybody, me, I believe, everybody will pass that integrity test with flying colors, you know? Everybody will come out clean, definitely.
That's what I'm saying.
Because Kenya is corrupt, and we cannot rule out the fact that corruption will be at center stage during that time.
So how do we get rid of that corruption?
The only way maybe is through public. When this thing is supposed to be done, I think it should be done with the presence of the public, that so and so is, you know, vindicated if he has done something, and if so and so is clean, he has never done anything. We should hear some of these things, you know. It should be public hearing kind of, and all these institutions should be incorporated. Their work should be incorporated in one place, and the thing should be done, you know, at the same time. Because if you're telling me one has to pass there, we don't know what's going to happen at the anti-corruption. The anti-corruptions will be corrupted. Another one goes round, you know, the CID will be given something. He goes round and he will come out clean. The gang will come out clean.
Yeah. But is there a way? That's my question. Because me, I believe there's a way.
For me, in as much as I believe that the integrity test is something good and lovely, what they should do in this case, is to bring all these, incorporate the work, the role of all these institutions. Let them do this process. What we want is objective process. Let them come together and do this thing at the same time. Kenyans who are interested should come. Maybe you can have that for a period of 1 week.
But they're already vetting public officers.
They're doing it. They're doing it.
They're vetting public officers. I'm speaking about the guys we're going to elect. Because, you know, anti-corruption, all this can't go around clearing everyone. You see, unless, like you're saying, we have to request them, like everyone who will express an interest of running for elective office have to be cleared by those bodies. That's what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah.
And they have to be cleared from the same point.
But who is vetting these bodies? You should ask yourself. Who is vetting
So how do we, you know, my question is, how do we get it right? How do we do it? I need you to suggest something.
It should be done because one thing first, people don't have enough knowledge of those people who are running for the positions, interested, you know, candidates. It should be done in public. If the anti-corruption can go as far as Mandera, for instance, and ask the public, you know, to bring the memorandum or whatever, if they have anything against, if this person has done something or whatever. And it should be done through, you know, the public should be there to hear that so and so is free to run for the election because he has no cases. He has never grabbed land. He is not corrupt. Those are the kind of things we want. If it's not like that, then the work of these, you know, things should be incorporated, of these institutions. I'm saying incorporated, I don't mean that it should be done by one institution, no, but all these institutions can come together and do this work, undertake this assignment at one time.
I understand you.
At the same time, in the same place.
True.
And then with the presence of public. The public should be there.
The public should be the one making that decision.
The public should be there watching the process. In fact, we must have observers. Otherwise, we cannot rule out corruption and bribery. It will be there definitely, and one will buy, you know, his freedom out to go and run for a political office.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for that insight. Now, there's something else you told me about sports.
Yeah.
You told me you used to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Used to be.
I used to play. I used to play football. I stopped the football because football Kenya is corrupt. You can ask any other person who has. You can ask Sholei. You will know a lot about him. I came out from school with talent, immense talent, with the dream of, you know, wearing the true colors of this nation one day and taking Stars to the World Cup final.
You wanted to take Harambee Stars to World Cup?
Of course, yes. Why should I play football if I cannot, you know, qualify to a World Cup?
So your dream was taking Harambee Stars
to a World Cup final.
To a World Cup final.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. And then?
But then what happened? You come here because there's no exposure there. You come here. You in Nairobi, you run from one club to another. You'll find that the whole thing is bullshit. Because nobody cares about football in Kenya. The structure is corrupt. The system is corrupt. The government does not want to know something about the sports. Nobody wants to, you know, even go and look at the National Youth Talent Academy. This institution has been running for too long, but there is no meaningful, you know, talent that we can say they have tapped. Nothing. You see that?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of having, you know, billions of taxpayers' shilling going into such kind of projects, and you know there is nothing coming out? That is one. The other thing is that in Kenya we know, if you are not related to a coach, if your father has never played for Harambee or, you know, not represented Gor or FC, if your father is not, or anybody who is related to you is not in the,
The sports frontality.
those money, the sports, whatever, you have no chance. It does not matter what kind of talent, however immense your talent is, it will just die. That is why we have a wholesale loss of talent year after year in Kenya.
Because I know
it never ceases to amaze me, because sometimes when I go to, I go and watch the games, I find that sometimes on the traces we have talented, some of them very thriller, strikers, great footballers, never given the chance. We have people, in the football who are playing football. At that time on the pitch, playing some football. But these guys are not the best we have in Kenya. You mean out of 42 million Kenyans, we lack 11 level footballers? We can't.
So what can be done about the sporting, the sport industry in Kenya? Because things need to change, how it's being run. That's why it boils down. What can we do about it?
First thing is corruption. And those guys who have been doing all this problem are still there in office. The likes of the chairman and the rest should just quit, because they have not. What should they do now? They have been serving for too long. They have done.
You're only losing matches. We're only losing matches.
And again, you are not even trying to develop, football. Look at from the structural, end up mashinani at the grassroots level. What is happening?
There's no
development of talent.
Yeah.
There is no development of football. There are no recreational facilities for the youth. It's not happening. So why should we waste our time? What are you doing in a bigger office in Nairobi when there are no, we are not doing something at the grassroots level? These things should start from the lowest, and then selection of players should go beyond the Nairobi. One has to go up to across Kenya and find out where talents are. You should source talent.
Yeah.
That's how you should do. You tap talent from there, and then you bring them to the limelight. And I'm very much sure, sports being one thing that's supposed to unite. If we go up to every place, we will
unite us as Young
bring
Kenyans.
nation building and and unity.
Yeah. So we have to get it right from the national level. Even election of those officials.
Elections was fraud. Yeah. Everything is done in a manner that you cannot even understand some of the time, because even if you go to the branches, the elections is something that is very obscure. You go there, sometimes you don't understand. Somebody who has never played football, who has never represented any football, will just appear one day and he has no knowledge about football and how to manage it, and he's elected simply because that day he has given something out.
Yeah.
Or because he has links with the chairman or something. That is.
It's very painful.
Very painful.
Now, I want you to talk to young Kenyans, and I want you to tell them what they should do come the next elections. Just address them.
First, life is not easy. Life is very difficult. We know we have a lot of problems, challenges, unemployment being one of them. Even those who are employed are unemployed. You don't have to wait from the government. The government will not spoon-feed you. It is up to you to decide and make the choice. You should once and for all shun tribal thinking.
You've had all those guys who are vying for presidency, governors and stuff. The sporting industry represent a lot of opportunities for young people. We need good management in the sporting industry. We need presidential candidates. We need governorship candidates who have policies for the sporting industry in Kenya. What's another issue that's affecting young people, Mohammed?
The other issue that's affecting young people is mostly we have brokers in the name of youth organizations that are trying to waylay any kind of project, any kind of of action that are supposed that is meaningful to the youth. They are in between grabbing everything. This kind of organizations who are there using the name of the youth should stop. stop enriching themselves using in the name of the youth. Okay. That is totally wrong, and it's a fraudulent way and process of getting, things. If they want to enrich themselves, let them use
other means,
other ways, legal ways, not using the name of the youth, because you're not helping. Instead of them, creating awareness about whatever they want to do for the youth, or whatever they are being commissioned to do for the youth, they are not ready.
Okay.
Yeah, they are always absent, and the youth are not aware.
Stop that behavior. You youth organizations who are using that tag to enrich yourselves. What's your closing remarks? What's your message to the young Kenyans out there?
Young Kenyans, let's wake up. Let us shun tribal way of voting. We are one. We are all Kenyans. No one is more than the other. No one is better than the other. We should think of how we can make good choices, regardless of background. I think through that way we will get it. One other thing is political participation is very, very important for the young tax. Political participation. Political participation. One man, Mutai Ngunyi, one time referred to this generation as the coward generation. People waiting, to be spoon-fed by the older generation always. I think we have to defy that.
Okay. Yeah. You've heard it. Young Kenyans are very, very much informed. We are going to make the right choices come the next elections. And we are going to do it. We have no option. We have to do it. Until next time, keep it 254.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm honored.
Anytime.